Hi, I'm Terry Murphy for the Data Advocate, and here today with Women in Real Estate. And today we have a terrific woman in our studio, and her name is Jo Garner, J.O. Garner, to be certain. She's not only the author of a great book, Choosing the Best Mortgage for the Quickest Way to Live the Life You Want. She's been in the industry for over 30 years, but she doesn't stop there. She's a little bit of an overachiever. She has Real Estate Mortgage Shop Talk Radio, for which I've been a guest. And that's been over 12 years. She's the founder and sponsor of Memphis Talk Shop, which is a terrific way to offer education and networking in your local market. And she has, of course, authored books. So she knows a lot about real estate, and she knows a lot about women in real estate. So welcome, Jo Garner.
Welcome. Well, hey, I'm so glad to be here, Terry.
We've worked together a long time, and one of the things I admire the most about you is that your interest in helping all people, especially women. And your book is a compilation of stories of different opportunities where you have helped people who couldn't buy real estate to invest and have the American dream. Tell us a little bit about your inspiration for writing the book.
Well, Terry, over 30 years, I've had a front row seat to people who had big dreams, and some of them had some challenges that they needed to get over, and they didn't think they could. So in being on that journey with them, I was able to find some loan products or maybe some things they could do to help them with their credit. But they are the ones who did the work. They're the ones who stepped forward in faith, did the things they needed to do to get to the place they wanted to be. But there were so many stories, and I've shared a lot of them. Of course, changed the names, changed some details to protect privacy on the radio show, Real Estate Mortgage Shop. And I had about 10 years worth of stories. So I'm like, I'd really love to share this with other people in a different format where other people can read stories and be inspired or be educated. So the book, Choosing the Best Mortgage, the Quickest Way to the Life You Want, Terry, is really, it's a guide for real estate professionals, whether they're realtors or mortgage officers, but they're chock full of stories of people, real people with real situations. It makes it easy to read for a consumer, somebody who just may be interested in buying their first house or their 30th house, or maybe they want to restructure their financing. They can see stories and how these different products that are spotlighted in each chapter, how they work for you and how they may not work. So advantages and disadvantages to this.
Well, it was 1974, which sounds like a long time ago, but it wasn't, that women legally did not have to have a male co-signer on a mortgage. And so, that tells me some amazing statistics. And today we have a preponderance of widows, literally 3 to 1. There were over 300,000 widows in this year, compared to like 1 million men. So we're outliving them. And a lot of these women have real estate issues that they've never had to buy a mortgage. They've never had to downsize. They don't know what it is to sell. So give us a couple of stories in choosing the best mortgage, because that's what you really do. It's not a one size fits all. You've been remarkable in your quest for doing that. But I know you've really helped some people acquire real estate.
Yes. Well, women, it's like you said, everybody, and you mentioned 1974, that's when the Equal Credit Opportunity Act was passed and things began to change. Fair Housing Act also has helped women as well as a lot of other people get some equity there, get some level playing field there. And we're seeing a lot of positive changes and continuing to see that in the lending industry. I just wanted to speak to that. But as far as stories of women, women are resilient. Women love their home, and a lot of them are committed to their families, their children. So we see a larger number of single women households than we do single men. And I think part of that is, I call it nesting, because I'm a woman, I can say that. We want to have a stable place, a safe place to live and to raise our families. One of the more challenging situations are women who have children, they've been married, but they're now divorced or going through a divorce. And that's pretty challenging because a lot of times the ex-spouse has charged up the credit cards, refusing to pay. It's a long legal battle. We know it costs money to go through legal battles to get a divorce. So a lot of those people are women that I work with, some men I would say this from the mortgage desk, Terry. If you're a woman, you're about to go through a divorce or you're going through one, first and foremost, get your name off of the credit cards or close those accounts so that ex-spouse can't go in there and charge them up and really mess your credit up. So start that early. Just get separated out of those accounts. Number two, the biggest mistake I see women make who later want to buy a house, but now they can't, is because they'll take like the first or second offer they're made in a divorce agreement, and they'll shorten the term of how long they're going to get alimony or how much they're going to get in child support. Normally, it takes about a year or two before they settle out, they pay some of the bills off, and they feel comfortable to buy a home. Lenders are not going to use that income, Terry, unless we can show that it is going to continue for 36 months or more from the closing date, not the day that you apply, but the day you close and get the keys to your home. What a lot of women will do is they'll take 3 years alimony and they'll call it good. Well, it's expired. We can't use that income the day you file your divorce, so don't do that. Don't do that. Plus you have to show that you've gotten that income for 6 months or so in order to count it. So if you're thinking about going through a divorce, think about putting in a longer period of time, like 5 years, 7 years, whatever it may be, to get your alimony or raise the amount of your child support.
That's a very valid point, especially when we look at people when there's military lending, because there's deployment and there's just so many facets to why we need a professional that knows what they're doing. I know that you helped other people who couldn't qualify for necessarily a traditional mortgage.
Right. Okay. So in the book, Choosing the Best Mortgage, the Quickest Way to the Life You Want, I tell a story about Dawn and her little girl, Destiny. Dawn went through a rugged divorce, and the ex, just like I mentioned, had just charged up her credit card, some other things, really messed her credit up so badly, and then would not pay child support. So, I mean, she was in a double whammy. She was trying to work a job. She was trying to get family to help her take care of her daughter. She loved her daughter more than life, her little girl. She had her in childcare. She wanted to get a home, Terry, that was in a safe place, that was close enough to her work and her family to get that support and the childcare. But she couldn't qualify. I mean, nobody would touch her, number one, because of credit. Number two, she didn't have enough money because she wasn't getting the child support. But what happened with her, because she was working 2 jobs, she had some family helping her, she was able to find a home where the gentleman had a good house and a good safe neighborhood, had moved out of town to take care of his family. He wanted to sell the house, but he heard of her story. He said, look, I'll do a lease purchase for you, Dawn. I'll lease purchase this as long as you close, within 2 years. And that was going to give her a time to work out her credit problems. You can get a traditional loan, or he said, I'll sell or finance this. I'll finance this for you. In other words, you can pay me, $1,000 a month or whatever it was for X number of years if you'll take care of the house and put some money down. For her, it was a lifesaver, Terry, because even though she could not get traditional financing at that time, it gave her the safety and the comfort of her own home near her support group. So that was a situation where her dream came true, but not through traditional financing.
Yep. She had a chance to clean up her credit. She had a chance to establish
exactly
a good working relationship with the land contract holder. And at the end of the day, she was still building equity while she was doing all these other things, which bless her heart. So what we
yeah, I know it. But here's what we say on Real Estate Mortgage Shop, which is a radio show. There is a solution for every problem. It may not be the exact solution you want. It may not happen in the exact time frame you want, but there is a solution, and you just have to take the next right step, whatever happens. Carly Clemens is another story of a woman. Hers, again, was divorce related, but all of them aren't divorce related. Some people get into situations because of the death of a family member, or maybe they get displaced for whatever reason, illness. But Carly's was a divorce situation again. Now, Carly played it smart. She was a hard negotiator at the table, and she asked for plenty of time to get her alimony. She didn't have any child support at that point. Her challenge mainly was she was just emotionally beaten down because of the toxicity in the family, you know, before the divorce. She just didn't feel like she could ever buy a house again. But gradually, she took the next right step, as I just said. She came in and she said, Joe, more than anything, I think the biggest part of my healing is going to be when I own my own house again and I have my she shed, because she was into crafts, hobbies, and things like that. Oh, I tell you, it was such a joy. But she was smart. She made it easy on me because we could use the alimony income because she had set up enough time to where there was easily more than 3 years left on it, and she was receiving it. She had time to work on her credit. Again, same as Dawn. She had some problems there, but got all that worked out. Closed on her house. We actually got Carly some down payment assistance because she had spent her nest egg on legal fees. So, and paying off, you know, credit. Got her some down payment assistance, loved it when she got the keys to her house. And her she shed was actually a bedroom in the back of the house. So she said, I've got it fixed up. So cool, Joe. She said, it's my haven. It's my safety and my comfort away from the world. A lot of stories like that. Another story, what you mentioned earlier, Terry, about women who outlived their husbands. That is, we're seeing more and more of that. And I tell another story in the book, Choosing the Best Mortgage, about Opal Osborne, not her real name. But actually, her son called me after a radio show. We had talked about reverse mortgages. Now, reverse mortgages aren't for everybody. If you have assets that can be reallocated to income, you probably do not need a reverse mortgage. But this lady did not have that. She lived in a house that was her castle. She needed repairs in order to keep it to be a safe place for her to live. Her son called me and he said, Joe, it's just no end situation. My mother doesn't want to leave that house for anything, but it needs some repairs. It's not safe for her. And she doesn't have enough income to get a big mortgage. So what we did for her, Terry, she got a reverse mortgage where she took part of her money from, see, it's reverse. So the mortgage company is going to pay you. You don't have to pay the mortgage company. So she took part of it in a lump sum, got the repairs done. So the house is now comfortable and safe for her to live in. And the rest of it she took as an income so she could afford to have some people come in and take care of her periodically. It was a godsend for her. So that happens a lot with women as well that outlived, like you said, their husbands, and now they're needing to they want to live in their home, but they need the income. They may need a lump sum to do that.
So you cited a number of things. Number one, we talked about land where the seller can hold the papers so that you can afford getting into housing. Number two, you talked about down payment assistance. We haven't heard that in the last 10 years too much because, you know, it's been kind of a crazy market. We talked about reverse mortgages. We talked about credit repair. Here's what we got from Joe Garner. There's a solution to every problem. And if you don't believe it, you can join her on her radio show, which is every Saturday. Tell us the call numbers for it.
You can go to jogarner.com and get all the information on that on the iHeart app at 9 o'clock Central every Saturday. Just put in the search bar WREC on your iHeart app. Connect with us, call in, and let's stay connected, Terry.
Absolutely. And I've been a guest and I've actually hosted it, so I know it's really good. And then of course we can get Choosing the Best Mortgage, the quickest way to getting the life you want at Amazon, I'm sure.
Nope, and Barnes and Noble as well. Yep.
Barnes and Noble, there you go. So thank you so much for joining us, and join us for another segment on what women need to know about financing. Thanks so much for joining us.